Well, that was a short topic.
Yep.
Let's move on to the topic of the episode. What we really think about Hearthstone, the censored edition.
The censored. Sure.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
I'm going to begin.
Go for it.
I played Hearthstone in beta.
Okay.
Immediately, I was like, this is really well done.
Mm-hmm.
The production values are high. Everything's really good. And then I started to get sad the more I played it. Because if you're playing Hearthstone and you're immediately disagreeing with us, let me explain. They lifted all the mechanisms from this game from the WoW TCG.
Yep.
But they didn't take everything.
Nope.
They cut it in half.
They renamed some of them.
They cut it in half. They took things away. And I'm just going to immediately start by saying my 3 things about the game that I think that are ruining it as of today.
Okay.
1, they have a very small design field. They only have a couple of layers that they can design this game with, different mechanisms and things like that. In the WoW TCG, each round you would take a card and put it down as a resource. And that was awesome because you had that decision making based on what card you want to get rid of each turn.
Yeah, you could use a quest, you could pack quests that acted like lands.
Yeah.
Or you could kind of sacrifice a card that maybe it's a more late game card and
you got it first draw, or
right.
maybe you put it in there specifically against certain classes.
Exactly.
Bam. Resource. Now, the other thing is, you are in the WoW TCG having like 7 cards in your hand, whereas in Hearthstone, you have 3 or 4
right.
to begin. So, it does have a hand size that's greater than WoW TCG, actually, but
a lot more cards in your deck too, but
yeah, you're talking about a 30 card deck compared to a 60 card deck.
Mm-hmm.
But the second thing I was going to say is the design space for the characters. You got minions and spells. That's it.
Right.
Whereas other games you have, so everything you design has to be on a minion. You put a cool power on a minion and make him have less health, he goes away real fast, and it's not worth the cost.
Right.
And so I feel like you're not doing a lot of cool stuff. Like if you could put out like terrain cards or artifacts or different things like that would give really cool abilities, and maybe they didn't have health or attack, but all it was is an ability, you could get so much more stuff going on, I believe.
Right.
And the third thing is, I know it's a card game, but there is so much random stuff happening in this game. They're cards that are like, play this card, deal random damage to something. Play this card, randomly cast a spell on a random target.
Right.
Yours or theirs. And you could say, okay, well, don't include those in your deck. That is the game now. Most of the good cards in this game are doing random crap.
Mm-hmm.
That is so stupid. And you know what? They did a poll. And the people wanted it. They wanted more of it. But this goes back to the CCG
They
thing.
wanted more random?
They wanted more random stuff. But this goes back to the casual player doesn't understand
right.
what makes a game good. They're having fun because it's like their mind is so small and unexperienced with games. I sound such like a jerk right now.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. It's the same thing. I'm mad. Mostly it's just me being mad at Hearthstone, not at the people. But think about it this way. When you argue that Monopoly is a crappy game with somebody who's only played Monopoly, this is the same story that I'm talking about. You are so limited in what you know, and there's this vast open world of games out there with so many cool mechanics and mechanisms and things going on that you're ignorant, and then that's what their casual player base is they're ignorant to the fact that this is just randomness. And yeah, I guess in the end they're having fun. So how do you argue with somebody having fun?
Right.
But it just irritates me to see so much random stuff in a game where it's supposed to be a little bit more strategic, I guess.
Right.
And maybe I'm just hurt because they took the license away from the WoW TCG to make this.
Right.
What's your thoughts? I've talked too much.
Well, my first point I put on here was randomness almost seems like a mechanic.
Yeah, it's definitely a main mechanism now.
And so there's a lot of cards that you play and it deals 1 damage to something. You probably want it to go face, or maybe there's a 1 health something, but you don't hit it. Okay, but it's got enough attack to kill that thing you just cast. So
yeah,
it's kind of weird in that sense. And I feel like with this last set, there wasn't a whole lot of innovation. You know, you had your death rattle cards, your artifacts, which still kind of had a randomness to it because there was a lot of the discover.
The discovery mechanism is neat, but it's so stupid.
It can still be random though.
Yeah.
So it's like this discover, a 1-cost card. Well, that's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of 1-cost cards that could be. So
yeah. You're gambling. That's all it is. And that's probably why the casual people like it, is because people like to gamble.
But it is super inefficient and it's not steady. And, in a card game, unless you're building some crazy control deck that's very toolboxy, that you got like just one of a million cards for these certain situations that you meta against and hopefully pans out for you.
That's the other thing. We talked about this, the meta. This game, immediately within the first month of the release, or within the first couple weeks of the release, I mean, decks are getting defined.
Mm-hmm.
There is not a large meta in Hearthstone.
Not really.
And that's the problem, is because the card pool is so small. You're always going to include the basic decks or the basic cards with everything. I get it, because in WoW, I mean, it's giving you all the abilities and stuff like that the classes have from WoW and what they have in that.
Right.
And it defines that class, but then you're only adding in, a percentage of extra cards, whereas in like Magic the Gathering, you've got 600-700 cards or whatever in a block.
Right.
And then what happens is they find the best combos, quote unquote, but then other people were like, well, I can just meta against that.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to meta against something where there's not that many combinations of good stuff.
Yeah.
You're not going to find out what's better than what's already being made. What's being made is probably the best stuff that you're going to see with what's being released right now.
Right.
And it's just irritating. And maybe I'm a little bit too crazy because I've always felt like this, but I felt like you had a different story before this set, right?
Yes.
You were all over Hearthstone before this set. And that's actually why I put this topic on here, and I texted you and everything. I was like, this is going to be great, because
right.
Matt's on the pro fence. I'm on the cons fence.
Right.
And then I was disappointed to find out. I was like, oh man.
He's kind of agreeing with me.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know. And like I said, the mechanics, the Cthulhu thing they have now is it's gimmicky.
Stupid.
It's gimmicky. I don't know if it's super viable. We're not experts. I don't know. I don't read the forums. I don't find out every crazy, blah, 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 blah. I will say.
Yeah, but how many different variations of Cthulhu are there? Maybe 2 per class. But for the most part, they're all doing the same thing.
Yeah. They're dropping the same cards. They might have one class card that helps them.
Differently than other.
Differently, right.
You see a Cthulhu deck and you pretty much know what's coming next.
It's all the same.
It's not surprising.
Right.
And they gave it to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone's building these Cthulhu decks, and all you see is Cthulhu decks. And the problem is it's efficient, or it's pretty good.
It can be, yes.
It's competitive. It's competitive in the fact that people are taking it to Legendary. And even past that. So it's just, you see it all the time. It's just really annoying. I don't know. I still play it, but not like, mostly for like Tavern Brawl, because
right.
I think Tavern Brawl is by far the coolest thing.
No, it's fun.
And I'm going to say some positive things. One, the adventure modes are awesome.
Yes.
That is by far the coolest thing about the game. I mean, they make some super awesome adventure modes. They make some really cool, unique experiences with CCGs, like, the League of Explorers,
right.
and the Mineshaft thing or whatever. I mean, they got some really cool stuff going on. And the Tavern Brawl is really fun. It's not balanced, but it's not really meant to be balanced, more so as it is to have fun.
It's meant to be goofy and fun.
Yeah.
And random.
Right, and random. And so, like, in the arena's probably fine, too. I think the arena's probably more of what I would rather play now, just because it is like a drafting thing.
Exactly.
And so I just feel like doing the competitive thing, it's not worth the frustration of how random it is. You build something that's really good and it's not consistent. Like, people online are saying this deck has a 60% win ratio. You're like, that's great. That's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking CCG tournament level stuff. That is a terrible ratio.
Right.
And that is considered awesome. And like we said, we're not experts. We are totally doing it from our own perspective. That's the greatest thing about opinions in America.
Right.
America.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I don't know. And the other thing is, like, they killed off all the other sets. It's a digital game. Unlike Magic the Gathering, when you lose all that money from the cards you used to have, In this game, you can make it viable for players to continue. Wild is stupid. Wild is like the new vintage. It's like you can play any card you want.
Right.
But all those cards that you had, you know what you can do with them? Not a thing. Some of the tavern brawls allow you to play wild cards, and maybe that's kind of cool, but give people full refunds in dust. Maybe not money, but dust. You use dust to craft cards, give them full, or give them a bonus for craft or for disenchanting older cards, stuff like that. So,
well, I guess the thing they did was
you cut into profit there.
Well, not that, but they lowered the amount of dust it costs to craft those cards significantly. Like
to craft them. But if somebody already had a full set, now they've lost all ability to all those cards.
Right, unless they play wild.
Unless they play wild, which is pointless. Now, with that being said, if they add in some kind of, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I just don't know, do they have ranked mode for wild? And do you get anything from it? I don't think they do.
No, it's you. I think you keep your rank on either one you're on.
That's dumb.
Yeah, so if you're...
It should be totally separate things.
Maybe in that sense, it probably should be.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure you can just flip back and forth between wild and casual and you stay your same rank.
Same rank, yeah. Yeah, that should be two ranking systems. I don't know why they're the same ranking system. And if we're wrong, we're wrong. I apologize or whatever. But
I'm pretty sure because I was flipping back and forth there for a little bit, like when the new set just came out.
Either way, though, I feel like, I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed. And the fact that they come out with sets so far between each other, it just sucks because it's like, well, what's going to come next?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I don't know. I think the game, unless they come out with some crazy mechanic here soon.
They need to just add another layer of depth to the game.
Yes.
Or do something dramatic, like come out with like 2-on-2.
Yeah.
That would be something cool.
But I think to really fix it, where Magic has got the huge leg up on it, it's responses. Now, I don't know how that works in game design.
Yeah. It wouldn't be that hard. It's not like the game's asynchronous play. You're there.
Yeah, so this whole like secret thing is goofy. Yeah. If that's supposed to be a response, that's awful. I want to...
You've activated my trap card.
Yeah. So, I want to gamble. I wanted
to say that.
I want to be staring at this guy that's still got 3 mana left
and be scared
to play something because I don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly. Whereas they put out a secret. Now, no, they have like counter spells with the mage or whatever, but it's like, oh, secret. You're like, okay, well, in the meta, there's only 2 secrets that are even good.
Right.
So it's probably this.
Well, if it's a mage, just to go through my thought process, okay, it's secret. Let me put a 1 cost thing out here so it doesn't copy it.
And I'll attack you with one.
Okay, yeah. Okay, well, I'll attack you with something in case it vaporizes. That didn't happen. Oh, it gave you 8 shield. Cool. I'm good. I know what's going on now.
Right.
It didn't take a big thought process to figure out what was going on.
It's too telling.
Yes.
And if he can hold one of those cards behind, like the counter spell, and you're getting ready to pop down something crazy, and they counter spell it.
Nope.
Right. Now, a counter spell probably be a lot more powerful in this game than other games, so maybe that would be something that would need to be readjusted. But all the other secrets, I mean, those can happen. Like the hunter has like the frost trap and things like that. Why can't that?
You still just play around it.
Yeah.
I mean,
you spent the mana,
right?
So why not allow you to spend the mana out of turn?
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it could use maybe some constants.
Like permanent or
permanents.
That's what I was talking about. Like cards that come out that aren't minions, that stay around. At that point, you can already design all kinds of other cards for classes to be able to buff those things or be able to remove those type of permanents. I mean, you open up design space that way.
Right.
Or add something cool. Maybe add some scenarios to the game where instead of just beating the other player to death, maybe there's, kind of like the adventure modes, because they have all these they're like puzzles or whatever.
Right.
But do that for the main game too, like depending on what map that you get added into, instead of just being able to click random crap and it does funny things.
I still like it.
It's really funny. The production is amazing, and that's why I continue to play it casually, mostly with Tavern Brawl and stuff like that, because it's not like it's a crappy game with terrible graphics and just really bad design.
Right.
I mean, it's a phenomenally produced game. It is the best card game I have ever seen in digital form. But the design of the game is just very lackluster.
Right.
So I don't know, just add some more stuff to it. And they will. But Blizzard takes a decade to do anything.
Right. And, I will say this, things I love about the game. Like we said, the boards, clicking on stuff. That's fun. It's good time filler. And I love the sounds that the cards make when you drop them and when you use them.
The polish is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a lot of draw and appeal to it, and I love that quirkiness that a lot of the cards have on them. Trogno, stupid. It's just funny. Every time I play
Give
them.
me a big hug.
Yeah, so every time, all this stuff that they're saying, hello, all that stuff is really goofy and funny, and
And that's pretty much why I haven't completely disenchanted everything and sold my account. I mean, it's just...
Permaban.
Yeah, it just started cussing at everyone. Well, you can't talk. Actually, you know what? Bravo.
Yes.
The fact that you can't talk to anybody, they need to do this for like Counter-Strike and crap. I mean, or not Counter-Strike, but like Call of Duty and stuff.
Yeah.
Man, people are such trolls, and I'm glad that the mental game is out of it. People still try to play the mental game by like, thanks.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I've gotten to where right when the match starts, if they greet me, I greet back and then instantly squelch. I don't even want to hear it because they do it. It's either they're being annoying or they're trying to be polite
or they're losing and they're getting mad and
and so there's so many different ways you can read into it, or they're silent until they wipe your board and get a big leg up, and then it's like, hello there. It's like, okay, awesome.
You're being a little jerk.
Yeah.
Especially when you read their name and it's like, awesome bro 1998. And you're like, okay, awesome bro.
Yeah. So, but I'm just going to be hopeful. I would imagine they'll have another solo thing come out. Maybe it'll be like really cool.
This is probably a lull to the game, but I think I have hope. It's Blizzard. The game's good. It appeals to a lot of people. It just doesn't appeal to me. So it's really, I can't be that upset about it, but.
Yeah, I kind of associate this with the treasure decks they did for a little bit. The in between their real sets, they just kind of put out garbage, like neutral sets that didn't really do much other than look pretty and be fancy. So
yeah.
Unfortunately, that's kind of what ruined the TCG because they put out busted neutral cards that you had to auto include.
Yeah, but at least the TCG, like, we're mad at Hearthstone overall. You just get mad at cards in the TCG.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't like whatever that stupid card from the Burning Crusade thing is. Every time, whatever damage you do, you have to destroy that many permanents.
Yeah.
That was such garbage because it's like such a... You hit them, you do like 7 damage. That's a lot of damage.
That was the sword, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Genrock, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you do 7 damage, and now you get to destroy 7 of my cards.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can't come back.
That's the card your brother put in his.
Anyway,
and he wondered why I didn't want to keep playing with him.
Stop it, Brian. You just net deck that. Anyway, closing thoughts? Anything else?
I still love the game. I still play it. I was going to send you a screenshot, but I wanted to tell you I actually got to rank 8 with my net decked face chamois.
Well, maybe I'm just mad because I can't get any ranking. I got to like 19 and then 3 stars and then I lose and I'm like, oh.
Well, in the past I told you before I could easily just sit down and kind of casually, I would always leave 3 quests up and play until one of them went away. I would always hit like rank 15. You're talking about like 2-3 games a day, at the most. I mean,
that's probably what I do.
I'm not pushing real hard to get rank, but this time I just got a goofy face chamois that I got tired of seeing all the time and just started plowing through everybody. I was like, oh.
Can't beat them, join them.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, maybe this is cool, but I still see it. It's fun doing the mirror match because people don't know how to get board control. So. That is where I got the advantage. They don't understand that even though you're supposed to be going face, and I know you're a face chamois, if I'm keeping board control always with 2 minions on the board, and you drop one, I just kill it and drop another one. I'm always getting tinging you for damage. So
this part of the conversation got a lot of meta.
Yeah, they need face. To learn. You guys that are.
Do you want to explain what face is?
Face. Well, it's just hit the person.
Yeah.
So, but even in that sense, you gotta contain board control. And if I've got 2 more minions than you got, and I can constantly deal with whatever 1 or 2 you drop, then I'm constantly getting damage.
Yeah, you're getting a leg up every time.
Right, exactly.
Your net gain is better each round.
Yeah. So sometimes you'll see maybe they got the board control and they just, well, I'm supposed to hit you. Well, thanks. I'm going to clear these guys, and now I got 2 more minions than you. Yeah. So thanks.
But
they're probably new. They don't know, so that's cool.
Well, it depends on what rank they are. If they're rank 8 fighting you, they got problems. How did they even get there?
Because I'd say still you face a lot of like mid-range decks, and you can just before they can even get rolling.
This is an interesting topic or question. Do you think it's easier to play when kids get off school?
Well, I know you said something about it.
I have such more of an easy time.
I actually tried it, and unfortunately, just in the one day I did it, I was like, I think he was right. So, because that was the thing. They were doing a lot of like really random stuff. It was like,
what is going on?
Why are you doing that? But okay.
Yeah, you play at 11 o'clock at night or 2 in the morning. You're playing against the people who are doing it hardcore.
Right.
So, anything else?
No, that's about it.